So this is the original road that the miners blazed to get down to the Stamford Hill Mine from Bella's Gate. To look at the data, get all the data that was available, and then make their assessment based on what they see. And it was from that I drew the interest for the people to come down here and have a look. And we've had some very notable mining engineers and exploration geologists down here.
Okay.
And they all look at it differently. Everybody's got their own opinion. And at the time that they were here, the prices of metals were really low. And the chemical makeup of the deposits are low. But today, they're high.
Okay.
Because of the scarcity of like copper. It used to be that for a mineable deposit of like a porphyry had to be 1% copper and a gram of gold. Today it's like a half a percent of copper is high grade. And 20 years ago it wasn't like that.
Okay. That's
here
interesting.
We are.
Very nice. Morning, sir. Morning.
Oh, Shane, this is Berkey.
Nice to meet you, sir. Nice to meet you.
So this is where the spring water gets pumped to.
Oh, okay.
What you'll see down at the bottom.
Right.
This is where the spring water ends up.
Okay.
Comes uphill. It's 650 feet down to the spring, 350-foot elevation.
Oh.
So we're going to be walking down.
Okay.
Hope your knees are in good shape.
Yes, sir.
What's the most? How many times you walked down there? What's the most?
A couple times well.
Couple time well?
Yeah.
My record is 4.
You know.
Yeah. Come. Come. Yeah. How are you, boy? Huh? How are you? So we bought this property for agriculture purposes, which is what the reason why we get the spring water.
Okay.
You'll see what I mean when we get down there. But we pumped it up here, and we used to grow scallion and things like that, but it's now banana.
Okay.
A lot of banana over coconut trees. Brought up some citrus trees. These are 2.5 years old.
Wow. Very nice. What is the Bellas Gate is known as?
Bob Page, trying to remember his company, Canadian company. He called Bella's Gate the crown jewel of the mineral areas in Jamaica.
Wow.
According to Simon Mitchell, this is the only Cornish steam boiler brought into Jamaica for mining purposes.
Oh.
Chimney. Cast iron boiler. Wow. This is the shaft.
This is the shaft? Oh. Wow.
This was dug to 260 meters.
Wow.
By hand.
Really? By hand?
Well, 1850 to 1860. What else did they have?
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
The steam boiler was brought in to pump the excess amount of water that was coming out of the mountain.
Okay.
That was being exposed due to the shafts at its drifts that were being put into the mountain.
Mm.
And it was the water that put them out of business. Did our excavation of the first added level. We used to have to walk down to the gully, and then the gully rockstone was our ladder up and down. None of these trails existed. It was literally walking heel toe along the edge of the hill. So that's why I had the men. First we made a little foot wide, then 2 foot wide, and then 4 foot wide for easeability of getting in and out. But you'll see the terrain. Welcome to the first added level.
Wow. Wow.
All right, quick history. This was identified by the Jamaica Cave Organization people that in, I think it was 2010, went down the shaft from up above. And I told them to look out for an added level on their way down, and they found this. This was literally sealed, earthen sealed, all the way up to that fracture or fault you see at the top. None of this was exposed. Yeah, all the way up there. Okay, and it looked just like this. Just like this. So when we did the measurements, it was 209 feet from the second added level up to here. We just dug in and opened it up and found the first added level. Over time, this side began to collapse, so I had to build this retaining structure. All local rock, local help. Put it in. And then again, this is the gully that leads up top. And this was our stairs. We used to come in and out of here using these. And as you can see on that, there's a drill, section of drill on the side of the rock. If you come forward. So I see that the lights at the end of the tunnel are not operational. But you want to take a walk down there?
Yes, sir.
On and off.
It's on and off.
Yeah, heat up there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's blinking.
But that's not the end.
Okay.
Anyway, come on. You dug this out a little bit, Bertie?
No, I'm gonna trouble it.
No. Okay.
So I can see these are our quartz. These quartz crystals.
What you have there is calcium.
Oh, so it's calcite.
Yeah, calcite.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. Down here is cool. Oh, these are bats?
Yeah, you read.
No, 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 no.
Stay to the left. You got a piece of wire hanging here.
Okay.
For a proper presentation, I'll get everything wired up.
No problem.
Okay? Everything lit up. And one pass on through.
Okay.
So this is the shaft area.
Oh, so this is going down on a level. Whoa. Yeah, I can hear the echo. Wow.
This is where you were above.
Wow. Snap. I can't even see any light.
Well, you know, you come down here certain times of the year when the sun is passing over the shaft.
Right.
The thing lights up brilliantly.
Wow.
Let me see here.
Nothing.
So we're 80 feet below the shaft level above.
80 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it continues back to this small area here. Now here you have mineralization, copper mineralization. You can see the staining there,
Beautiful.
right?
Wow.
And there's also staining on the left side.
Yes.
It's quite thick. It's about, looks like about 2 meter wide.
Mm-hmm. So the nature of these rocks is where they were being dug in the earlier time?
I believe these were materials that were dumped here from below.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So they brought them up the shaft. They used this as a convenient dumping ground.
Okay.
Now, somebody else has suggested that this could have been put here to engineer a blockage. So if you look at the back wall, and again, you're going to have to come back here.
Right.
If you look at the back wall, it's the same material. So this tunnel may have continued all the way through.
I can see water seeping
Yeah,
through.
man.
Beautiful. Wow.
Right here. Look.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
You can drink it. That's the spring water down below.
This is just me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, for real. Real natural.
So these mineral deposits here, like this one here, This is, you could say, began growing in 1860, 1850,
Really?
to get a measurement in time.
Mm.
Because this tunnel didn't exist until that time,
Mm.
right?
So you're saying that it still has active mineralization taking place, basically?
Sure.
Yeah.
See the water seepage here?
Yeah, I can see all these crystals. Beautiful.
So again, it's all volcanic.
Wow.
All volcanic. This is different than what other geologists say.
Mm.
The reason you have the calcium,
Mm.
the calcite,
Mm-hmm.
is because the volcanism pierced through the limestone layer,
Right.
right? And so it lifted limestone with it and got cooked into the hill in the heat.
Mm.
The heat of the battle. So now when we opened this up, it was full of treasure that was taken.
That's gold you're talking?
No.
What kind of treasure?
Mining artifacts.
Oh, okay.
This was engineered sealed, so they had left things in here, but they were taken without my knowledge.
Okay.
See, like here. This is an old broken rum bottle. Right? So this is an artifact left by the miners.
And this is from the 1800s?
Yeah. But you see,
Wow.
there were full ones here too.
Mm.
See, look at this.
Beautiful.
Now, during heavy rain period,
Mm.
this you can't come in here. It's like a shower.
The water is seeping through the roof?
Yeah, and it's the pure mud.
So, what do you sum this up to be in terms of the minerals?
I don't remember. It was so long ago when they tested it.
Mm.
I thought maybe you can identify it.
I mean, can I? More like this is still the calcite crystals here.
But it's a nice presentation.
It is.
Look at the way it just glistens.
Wow. Can't even say as it is right now.
Yeah, it almost looks like iron staining.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying I think more like it could also be like copper-related minerals as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Because Bella's Gate is more of a copper than it is gold or silver. There is high-grade silver here. So here's more of it here,
Right. Yeah.
right? And then over here, little pocket of it here.
Mm-hmm. So it says primarily copper for Bella's Gate.
Now, this is a perfect example track. So this is your tie that went onto your sleeper. And your rail fit in across here, and they had the mining cars running across. Of course, this was on the floor of limestone.
Oh.
Right? So when they closed the mine, they took out the reusables
Okay.
and sent them elsewhere. Which is something they do today, in some cases. And date this, you know how old this is, because this wasn't formed until after they
Right.
dug out the tunnel. Is that a frog? Something jumped on my leg. Come around this side. There's your pick.
So this is how the tunnel was made. Wow.
And they use this to drive, probably not this one, but it fits the hole.
So manual labor, literally.
Yes. This is post-slavery. This is 1860s, 1850, 1860s. So this added level probably began about 1850. Now Bertie's telling me this spike has been down here. So this is another driving tool. You can see the point on it. Right. And then here's the blunted side from where it was hit with a hammer. Nice job. Some decent, see, it looks like some iron staining.
Yeah.
Right? Feel that. It's got any weight to it?
It does. Very weighty. Wow.
This in to hold on to when you get out.
Okay.
Wait till I'm at the bottom and then you can start. Or you can go without it. So what you have in here are electric pumps that are being run by generator. That's up top. Can you open this, Bertie? This is the number 2 adit.
Okay.
So we're about 180, 160 feet below the shaft level where we started. And this is the gully that continues down. And if you look down below, you see the water running out. So that's the water that gave the miners the problem.
Okay.
This was first set up as a solar pump system. We had 8 6-volt batteries in there, so these are electric pumps. It's pumping 3 gallons per minute. Uphill. Yeah, uphill.
So this is basically the water table. Where is this water coming from, you said?
It's coming from the different levels inside the mountain.
Right.
So it collects and drips through the rock, traverses down into the shaft, and it comes out. This is the only adit that's open. So what I did, after trial and error of 2 other projects, is I dammed this up to create this reservoir. This is 8,000 gallons. It goes all the way back to the blockage that you can maybe make out back there, about 60 feet. Okay, so the water percolates through that, but it drips through the rock, so it picks up the mineralization through that. This has calcium, calcium, copper, magnesium, phosphorus,
Iron.
no iron,
No iron in there?
no salt. Silicon is in here.
Okay.
This water is very smooth and soft.
Wow.
We developed a brand called Top Shelf Alkaline Spring Water. It was the first brand of bottled water to be internationally recognized. We got 2 gold medals from 2 separate institutions in Brussels, Belgium. The water is 72 degrees naturally.
That's 72 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Take a feel.
Wow. Wow.
Beautiful. So what I have here is the overflow, which of course is what you have out there. Now the pump is running probably at a rate equal to or a little bit stronger than the flow coming in. Okay, so in about an hour that will stop draining because the pipe is being The water's being pumped up this pipe here.
Okay.
So if you want to see, we can actually measure. It's not here. So yeah, it won't be fair, but the last time we were down here, we measured it was flowing at a rate of 6 gallons per minute. It's hard to see. This needs to be pushed up, but we had 3 solar panel towers up there.
Okay.
We'll see them as we walk up.
Right.
So that was what was used to power this.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
I'm just using a generator now because those are no longer here.
Right.
Go ahead, take a peek over the gate. This tank here is the first tank I constructed as part of the feasibility study to see if we could actually pump water by solar energy uphill. And it was really before any of this other hard work infrastructure was put in. So once we were able to prove that, then we did this. And then a year later, the pump used to be inside. And a year later, I built a platform where we brought in the cabinet, put the pumps in there. And then a year after that, I built the building over it to shelter all that.
Okay.
So it's been a phased engineer as I go. It was never a master plan with all of this. It was a little bit by bit. Now, what can I do here? What can I do there? I think kind of Jamaican style
Yeah.
construction.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Quite beautiful too. When it rains heavy, this is a gully that runs up to our property up top. So this water will run down here, and you have a little waterfall, step down waterfall. The gully drains from High Stone Hill, Dry Hill, another 1,000 feet up. So water comes down the road and then cuts across and then down onto the property and down to the Rock River. Now with the cementing and the retaining wall.
So as you were saying, people in their 90s said that this tunnel used to exist here.
At least here. The
Wow.
entrance used to be here.
Right. And then over time it just collapsed and it went inward and inward.
I think Budos and Devon told me that.
Okay.
Gold Mine District. And the locals down here have been drinking this water. You were raised on this water, weren't you?
Yes, a long time, a long time.
Long time.
And the cure is on our heart. The water cold here.
Mm.
Yes, man. The cure is on our water cold here.
After my agriculture effort failed, because of the size of the land I have, I can't make any money.
I know how rain fall. I could have flow the water still clean and pretty like we see.
Oh.
No change. Same thing. No matter how rain fall, I could have flood. Same water pretty. Young stronger.
Mm.
Yeah, water flow by down and flow that.
We can have, we have another drain. I have a floor drain. I built in a floor drain all the way back there. So we can drain this down empty. With that open, this one open, it'll still overflow the dam.
Yes, man. Yeah, man. As long as you heavy rain, no matter where you want, you could have flow there, you still have to go over here. Yes, man.
Which is a massive amount of water.
Mm.
The water flow way down the way water flow over and fall down inside there. Yeah, man.
So just to make sure it's fully clear on camera, sir, you are the owner of this Bellas Gate gold mine property?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the Bellas Gate PO, but it's in the gold mine district of St. Catherine.
Oh.
This area is actually in gold mine.
Mm.
And there is a piece of property down there called the Gold Mine.
Okay.
So if you look on a map, you'll see gold mine on the Rock River.
Right.
Okay, so we're in the gold mine district.
Oh. Okay. But in the context of the efforts of the gold mining companies, if they were to deal with their mining, it wouldn't affect your current infrastructure.
Well, it probably would.
Oh.
You're talking about if someone was to come in to mine this?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. But that's the whole purpose.
Oh, so the purpose is, so is it that you're saying you
I didn't buy this property. I bought this property coincidentally to my actions of promoting Jamaica as a destination for mineral exploration to lead to copper, gold, and silver mining.
Oh,
I started that effort in 2000 with research, and I got the license in 2001. And I've been promoting Jamaica, for all those years until I signed an agreement with Karube Resources, which is a Canadian entity that was formed for this project, for this property, for Jamaica. So yeah, I mean, if it ends, it ends. This is not a natural spring per se. This spring exists because of the effort for mining. And I think people need to be cognizant of that. This is here because of mining. This spring probably may have existed as a trickle coming out of the side of the hill, maybe, but the concentration of the water is a result of the excavations done by the entities from 1850 to 1860 for mining.
mm,
But it's another valuable resource, water. And it's a damn good resource too, because the water's delicious, as I think you can attest to.
indeed, indeed, indeed.
And we have gold medals
Mm,
from two institutions in Brussels, Belgium.
gold medal.
Gold medals,
Mm,
taste and quality.
yes.
But these are leading institutions that are their whole purpose is to taste and test the quality of food products from around the world. And water, part of the beverage category. At least 150 meters from this level. And there are tunnels into the mountain. So those tunnels are collecting the moisture in the rock that percolates from the rainfall that falls on the mountain.
So that seems to mean that below because everywhere where you're going to and look now.
Yeah.
How much people on this so good down?
More than what we've already come down.
Eh?
Yeah, man. It's 260 meters, and that was dug by hand.
Another 400 feet from where we're currently standing now.
Yeah, the shaft.
Was dug by hand.
Yes. And there's tunnels that go in beyond the shaft. And then there's tunnels and drifts that go
Horizontal.
in this direction.
Yeah.
So all of those tunnels is what collects the water that flows into here.
So then the tunnel down there, up your water in them down there.
Have to be.
This is going to be, is it, but that's what I'm trying to get at is, in terms of the gold mining company of today, would they have to like readjust the flow of the water considering that?
So it's very simple. There's another adit down below here. All right? That is an unfinished adit. They stopped 260 feet from the shaft. They stopped digging because they shut down. This is an undeveloped mining operation. It never reached mining production.
Okay.
So what you got to do is you just drill a hole to the shaft. The water runs out like that.
Okay. And as you said, you are open to the mining companies, the gold mining companies, basically just taking over operations and even taking over the water
My
business.
intention in 2000 was, the purpose of doing this was to develop a natural resource that existed.
Okay.
Nobody else was looking at it. And this really was, I guess you could say I was motivated by the Gem gold mine project in the late 90s up in Pennant Square. So I became aware then. And then in 2000, I discovered on my own black sands in the beach of Black River Bay, actually in Parity, where I used to live. And from that, I started doing my research through mines and geology, looking at the geology of Jamaica. One thing led to another. And here we are today, 25 years later.
As you said, this depression is as a result of the
collapse
collapse.
of the ceiling in the tunnel we just came out of.
Okay.
Because the tunnel runs virtually this way, up to the shaft. It doesn't run up to the shaft, but it runs in that direction.
Right.
Raceways.
So just backtrack a bit. So you said this mining location is from 1850 to 1860.
1850, 1860.
Uh-huh.
But then down in Retreat, we got Congo Hill, Victoria Prospect, Elma Hill. That all of that happened in like 1900 through 1920.
Okay. Okay.
So the adits are there, the tunnels are there, the history is there, but it's not much that people talk about.
Ah.
The grade of rock and mineral is very extremely high grade.
Down in those areas.
Extremely high grade.
Okay.
You know, like 65% copper, 1 ounce gold,
Wow.
30 ounces of silver per ton.
Wow.
But the tonnage is small.
Okay.
Which is, to me, the higher the grade, the smaller the ton, the less investment. You're in and out.
Okay. So in other words, what you're saying is that in terms of the life of that mining, is not as big? Is that what you're trying to say?
Not attractive to the boys that like big toys and spend big money. Bauxite mining. The property is almost literally divided in two by this gully. And this gully continues on, it catches onto the gully that we just crossed over. It converges and it continues down to number 1 and number 2. At it. This is the same road we came in on. Now when I got the property, the land that we're standing on was about that tall. So we had to excavate this down to make this entrance road, and I had to build the culvert. It's called Mahogany Hill.
Okay.
Mahogany Hill is limestone. It's folded limestone.
Okay.
Follows a trend. That hump there, what you have is the Little Wandabolas River making that curve around that hump. That's Elma Hill. That's volcanic. I found 5 ounce per ton gold there. High grade silver, high grade copper in vein. Okay. That trend continues all the way up. It's all volcanics. All the way up. The backside, the bumpy ridge line, limestone. So as this intruded into the limestone, it pushed it out. That's why you have that. Over here is Mitchell's Hill. So when Mitchell's Hill came out and slid down and it pushed and formed that. It's my theory anyway. Then you have the limestone in the back and the volcanics. So Little Wandabolas makes its way down and links up with the Rio Minnow on the other side.
Main Ridge.
Yeah, this is a terrible day. It's all that African dust.